It's time for Throwback Thursday, where we rewind to the greatest moments, memories, and music of our Gen X past. I'm Paul Stressner, and every week we revisit classic episodes, rediscover hidden gems, and celebrate the pop culture that shaped us. So grab your mixtape or fire up the VCR, and let's take a trip back in time. Talk about perfect timing. This Throwback Thursday, we're bringing back an episode originally released on December 22nd, 2020. And it's a conversation Del and I had with the legendary Stan Bush. He's the powerhouse voice behind the songs on The Touch, which is from the Transformers movie, and also Never Surrender from Kickboxer. And when we first recorded this, Stan had just released his album Dare to Dream. And now, in an incredible twist of fate, we're re-releasing this just as he's about to drop his brand new album, Born for Battle, September 5th, 2025. And his lead single from that is already out. It's called Invincible. And this was a total coincidence because I didn't realize he had this album coming out until today. And I've been doing these in chronological order after we've got the holiday episodes like Halloween and Christmas and Valentine's Day and also the March Madness. So I'm just going through the rest of the Return of the 80s vault to get these on this feed. And it's just a coincidence that this episode came up and his album's coming out, and I'm sure it's incredible. I know Dare to Dream is incredible, and I highly suggest you check that out. It's out on Spotify. And about this episode, Stan shares stories from his decades-long journey, playing alongside legends in Gainesville, landing songs in the soap opera The Guiding Light, and also the show The Goldbergs, as well as American Dad. And we talked about his staying true to his anthemic sound, even through those dreaded grunge years. And we dig into the making of Dare to Dream, and we even play some song clips with his permission. And we also talk about his single on there, Born to Fight, and it was a Netflix commissioned song, and it appeared on the show, so you'll hear about that. And we also talk about how he kept his voice and spirit strong all these years. And also, I should say, on a personal note, several of Stan's songs are on my running playlist for my Journey to the Road Runner, and his music has fueled me through races and training sessions, proving that a true anthem can carry you forward mile after mile. With his new album just days away, there's never been a better time to celebrate Stan Bush, an artist who shows us that real rock anthems are timeless. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode with Stan Bush. Hey everybody, welcome back to finally a brand new episode of Return to the 80s. This is Paul here, and along with me is my co-host. You know him from the 80s at 8 radio show on WEDM FM, and also you know him from our very popular Remember That Song series on the Return to the 80s page. Is Del Rayling.
You make me sound very important, so thank you for that.
You're keeping the page alive. Yeah. And yeah, it's been a long time since we put out a show because we've both been busy with we're both going back to school now with our jobs and everything, but we have a very exciting show today. We had to come out of retirement, see if we still got the touch. So we have a very special guest. He's best known to our 80s fans from the songs The Touch from Transformers and Never Surrender from Kickboxer. And now he has an awesome new album that I hope you all will listen to and enjoy. It's called Dare to Dream. We have Stan Bush. Hi, Stan.
How's it going?
Good. I think I could speak for Del. We both love the new album.
Oh, thanks a lot.
Yeah, I just turned 50 this year, and I'm trying to get back into shape. I'm running a 5K in all 50 states when it's non-COVID time, so I need all the motivation I can get. So actually, I have a bunch of your songs on my running playlist, and it really motivates me, gets me going.
That's awesome. All right, cool.
And yeah, I'm happy that you've been pretty busy all along. How did you get started in music? What were some of your inspirations? How did you get going?
Well, let's see. I started playing guitar when I was about 11 years old, and of course, like so many people, it's really started with the Beatles. On its album, it was like, wow. I was in a And anyway, after that, I started playing guitar and all through school. I was in bands and things, and growing up, mainly Gainesville's kind of my hometown, Gainesville, Florida. And so I knew like Tom Petty and all those people back in the day, and it was a really cool scene there. There were a couple of guys from the Eagles came from Gainesville, and Stephen Stills, and a couple of the Allman Brothers guys. And anyway, so I was in nightclubs after high school and everything. I started playing nightclubs on the road, and then later got asked to join a recording group in Colorado, and then spent 2.5 years there before I came to LA. We got signed and came to LA and did one album with that band. It was called Boulder. And then after that I kind of went solo. Yeah, it's been a long haul, but I've had some good stuff, and it's been exciting.
Yeah, and I saw that you won an Emmy Award with the duet with Robin Beck.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. We got nominated for the Song of the Year for it was a soap opera, The Guiding Light, and then we got nominated, and we went to the ceremony, and then they called our names, and I was like, whoa, didn't expect that, right? But it was really cool. It was a cool experience.
Yeah. What was it like working with her?
Actually, the recording. She did her overdub the high part after. I wasn't at the same time. I wasn't at the studio, and so, But she's a great singer. I've always liked her.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and then I know you've talked about The Touch a lot, but I think I had heard that you originally were going to do that for that the Sylvester Stallone movie Cobra. But then
that. My co-writer Lenny Macaluso, he and I wrote that for with Cobra in mind, and it ended up getting, the record label got it in the original Transformers movie, and they told us about it, and it was like, oh, okay, an animated movie about robots. It was like, whoa. And little did we know it was going to become this big phenomenon. It was cool though, and then it got cooler as the years and decades went on. It kind of became more famous later than it was really.
Had you even heard of the Transformers before it was used for the movie, or?
Actually, yeah, my nephew had one. He was like about 8 or 9 years old, and he had one, and he was showing me how you change it. It changed from a man, like a robot shape, into a truck. And he could do it really quickly. Yeah. And I like spent like all this time trying to mess with it and couldn't do it, But it was pretty cool. That was my first experience with that, an actual Transformer toy.
Yeah, I have a younger brother. It was the same thing. He could do them in like a second, and I had a hard time figuring it out.
Yeah.
And then you had like you had another song on there too. Did you write that afterwards, Dare?
Dare?
Yeah.
I actually didn't write Dare. I was just they said, "Oh, here, sing this one." I was okay. But it was co-written with Vince DiCola. Wrote that. He did the score for the film for the Transformers movie, as well as Rocky IV. He did a lot. He was more of a scoring guy, but also a writer and really, really great talent. The guy's amazing. We're still friends. I see Vince every year or two. Last Transformers convention, we see each other at those things. Sometimes perform together, and but he's great.
And you have the same record label as the Rocky IV, the same company that did Rocky IV, the soundtrack, right?
Correct. Yeah, that was Scotty Brothers. Robert Tepper was on Scotty Brothers, and as well as let's see, Weird Al Yankovic too. So and
oh wow,
I met him a few times. He's a good guy. Yeah.
That's a name I didn't expect to hear tonight. So
yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, that was a running joke at the time. Private, it was like. You remember when they couldn't find Patty Hearst? She was on Scotty Brothers. No.
Oh wow.
No, that's pretty cool. Maybe you should cut that out. No, they're not around anymore. But it was fun. They did a lot of soundtrack stuff. They were the ones, of course, that had the Eye of the Tiger, Survivor. So that was their big claim to fame, and they did quite well with that.
Yeah, I miss those.
What's that?
Yeah, I miss those days with the great like soundtrack songs. You don't really hear that much anymore.
Yeah, it was that was a cool time. I mean, the '80s movies, they like Top Gun and all these movies like that. That like the songs were an integral part of the movie. The story, the songs were like great. It was really cool, and it was the kind of songs too that are like anthems where you remember the chorus. It's like a big hook, and that was great time for music as well as film.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, and with MTV, they incorporated both. You had the music videos, and they'd have like scenes from the movies in them and everything.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed on this new album, you had released that song, "The '80s." I think it was last year, right? So I was excited that it was also on this album.
Can't stop this feeling of the '80s. For me, the dream still lives on. Wow. When I hear that music, I still go crazy. It's like those days are never gone. When I hear that '80s song.
Yep.
The music video is kind of reminiscent of like '80s videos too, so it really has that feel.
Oh, thank you. That was fun doing that. Actually, my son plays a young me in the video. He's like 24 at the time, but yeah, it was like he had longish hair and all. Okay. It was like here, put on this leather jacket and these boots, and it was great. But the movie was cool. I mean, I even rented a VW bus to which is like took you right back to that era. It was like a time machine.
Well, I don't think I've ever heard a song that I've connected to as much as that song. So pat on the back to you for that. So yeah, I love it. I love it.
Nice to hear. Appreciate it.
Yeah, because it definitely has like the feel. It brings you back, but it's still current, and just even like the theme of it, like we're called Return to the '80s, so like it's good to like return back to that time. Not necessarily get stuck there, but it just go back to a time where you looked forward to what your life was going to be and everything, kind of inspiring.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great time for the country and for everybody, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
80s were cool.
The band that's on there, are they people that you've been playing with, or are they like your band, or is it like yeah?
That was actually my producers and the guitar player, he plays the keyboard intro too, Holger Fath. He produced my last 4 albums. He's great. 4, maybe 5 albums, I'm trying to remember, but yeah, he's from Germany and pretty much my best friend, and we collaborate together quite a bit. He's a really great producer, and he's the stuff we do in his house, in his garage, it sounds like records. It's I'm really happy with how the album came out. It's getting really good reviews too, the new album. So the '80s was the first song we did, and that was last year, as you said, and most of the album was written this year. So I mean, I know that the COVID thing's been a big bummer for the whole world and for a lot of people. But if there's a silver lining, it's that we were able to focus entirely on this record, this year, and did the bulk of it, this year with as far as the songwriting, production, everything, and the final sort of thing that came through at the last minute. There was one more song left to go, and then Netflix gets in touch with me out of the blue and says, "Can you do?" They wanted to do a fight song about their 2 most popular anime shows, Baki and Kengan Ashura, and so asked if we could write a fight song about fighting, and so I said sure, and I called up my buddy Lenny, and who wrote The Touch, and Lenny Macaluso, he and I, we wrote this song Born to Fight, and they loved it. It came out great, and so there was a music video of that with footage from those two shows, and then of course that's on the new album as well. So.
You were born to fight, fight and fight with fire, with a burning heart. You were born to fight, fighting down to the wire, fighting into the dark. No surrender, no retreat. Unleash the power, take the heat. 'Cause tonight it's a battle of might. You were born to fight.
Yeah, I love that one. Yeah, that kind of leads it off. So yeah, and honestly, I think this is a good time for an album like this because we need all the positivity and inspiration we can get.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. I it's funny because I've got into that. I think The Touch kind of started that whole, that whole positive rock thing. That's like write songs about hope and believing in yourself and going for it. It's sort of it's kind of an 80s thing generally, but I sort of never got out of that mindset. It's just, to me, I don't know, it just seems like we create our own reality, and if you think big and dream and all that, reach for stuff, and we really have more power than we ever realize we do, that kind of thing. It sounds corny, but it's sort of true.
Yeah, it's very true. Yes. Oh yeah, something else I want to ask you. I love the artwork on that. Is it and it kind of looks similar to it doesn't look similar, but it looks like it could be from the same artist from the last few albums. Is that true?
Yeah, it's the same guy. Nello Delamo. He's Italian. He's does album cover artwork. He's great, and he's done my last 4 covers. I think 4 or 5 album covers. And Nello's awesome. It was my idea to have the floating ship on there, and sort of a dreamscape kind of deal, where the kid on there. Well, he's like a teenager or whatever, but he's looking up and seeing this this dreamscape in his head, in his mind, I guess. And on the back cover, it has a younger guy waking up and looking out the window, and so. Kind of gives an impression of dreaming.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I feel like that's something else that's been missing is the album artwork, because everything's all online these days. But last year I started collecting vinyl again, so that's so refreshing. So
some people have asked me if I wanted to do one of my albums in vinyl, like this one, for instance, and I would love to if. I guess if I got enough of a demand for that, then it's certainly doable. It's just a matter of whether it would make sense,
Right.
But I still have a box of vinyls, in my basement. I guess a lot of us do.
Might be sitting on a gold mine there. You never know.
Yeah, that's right.
So I have a question, and don't take this the wrong way, but you've been very successful in your career, but you're not a household name. Was that deliberate, or did you? I guess I'm not sure if you've just accomplished so much. So, but I'm just kind of looking at what did you want that known name, or was this sort of I want to be a behind the scenes kind of guy and I just want people to appreciate the music and not be the celebrity type, or what was your thinking with that?
That's a good question. It's like I came along first 2 albums in the 80s, and then after that, the early 90s, this kind of music just sort of went away. It just imploded, and they had the grunge thing, and then so mainly I was doing stuff in Germany, Europe and Japan and England, and there wasn't much of a scene here for that kind of music. And, but no, it just sort of worked out that way. In a way, I think it's better because it might've messed me up somehow. It, I had just enough success to get a taste of it, and it's kind of a cool thing because you do it just for the art. You know, it's like, I don't know. I see these guys, friends of mine that have, you know, big bands and all the stuff. Like the keyboard player from Journey, I wrote with him, Jonathan Cain, and I mean they're part of this big machine, and they have to do this. Their whole life is consumed by touring, and you know, it's I don't know. It's this big machine that has to keep running, and
Yeah.
in a way, I don't envy that, honestly. It's yeah, it'd be nice to make $1 zillion, you know, but it does. But at the end of the day, you know, the important stuff is the art, and whether you feel like you're contributing to the world, you know, and having a life too.
Well, when you talk about the '90s, I'm assuming you're talking about the grunge
Yeah.
movement that came through, which Paul cringes every time I mention the word
You
grunge.
don't notice I was biting my tongue there.
Yeah, yeah. But it's impressive that because I would say so many artists either went away or tried to change to conform to that, and you stuck to what you loved, and yet here we are, and I think there's a resurgence of the '80s right now.
Yeah.
So and you're still here, which is, you know, incredible. So
Thank you. Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
yeah.
I think this is a side thing, but a lot of the guys that came up singing the singers in these big famous bands that toured all the years and all the months on the road, and it's really hard to keep your chops. I mean, your pipes, your voice. You know, a lot of these guys can't hit the notes anymore, and so I haven't had that problem, at least. You know, I can still sing. You know, sing that high stuff, and it's but it's very, you know, it's very hard. You go on the road for, you know, 18 months or something, you come back, the dog bites you, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, because you sound like the same as you did 35 years ago. I don't know if there was like any tricks or anything, what you do to take care of your voice.
Yeah, it's really, you know, a lot of it's, you know, just living healthy, eating healthy, and sleeping enough, and not getting high and stuff, and drinking. You know, people on the road, it's hard to keep some sort of regimen going like that. So I don't know. It's been a good thing. I mean, I'm happy with how things have come out. The thing is too, I think I'm smarter now than I was back then. It's always the thing with everything, I guess, is you know, I wish I knew then what I know now, kind of deal, right? Because I think I'm better at writing songs and all that.
I think the eating, no smoking, and no drinking is good advice, even if you're not a singer. So that's yeah.
That's true. Yeah. Our sometime co-host, a good friend of ours, who's our in-house resident millennial, she asked me to ask you if there's any artists these days that you listen to, that you enjoy, anybody that inspires you.
Yeah, honestly, I don't listen to a lot of music, and I should really, because but some of my favorite artists over the years, you know, I think Don Henley's great. I mean, he's, you know, great songwriter and stuff, and yeah, it's just sort of I like a lot of the older stuff too, you know. Like, I think coming up, some of the earlier, you know, inspiration kind of bands and things were like the early Foreigner stuff. I like that a lot, and you know, I guess well, of course, earlier than that, Zeppelin and things. But
Yeah.
it's just a lot of great music, and there always has been. I'm honestly not up on much new stuff, honestly.
Okay. Yeah. She suggested that you do a duet with Sia, so do with that what you will. Dell's shaking his head.
No. I was afraid you would tell him that. So
but yeah, she was here. She'd be trying to convince you, but now with the COVID, do you have any plans to like do like any online concerts or anything like that?
You know, that's been proposed actually. I know some people are doing that. They'll set up an online concert, sometimes charging for tickets, you know, to go to be just to watch it or whatever, and announce a particular date and time. And I haven't really gotten too far along as far as trying to do that. The last real show I did was, you know, a year ago in Germany at a festival. I played the Heat Festival in Germany last November.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think I'm hopeful that by next summer things will loosen up and they'll start having live stuff again. Because I really would like to perform. I have a band, guys in the UK that, great band that, we played like I say, they played with me in Germany, and then before that, a couple times in England, we did shows. And so it's cool to have a band over there. It's a lot easier than flying like 5 guys over from the States with all the gear.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. And I have, local band too here. So something comes up in the States, I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's mainly like you said, the COVID thing. There's not much you can do at the moment.
Yeah. And now with all the streaming services and stuff, has it affected you with the music industry kind of changing since you got started?
Yeah, it is. The streaming thing is different. I mean, it's all been changing ever since Napster came along. Back in the '90s, it was like, oh, we're going to give your music away for free. You spend all this money and time writing and recording, and then somebody can just take it. It's like kind of weird, and I don't know it. And then now, of course, streaming, they pay like a fraction of a penny per airing of the song and playing it. So you don't really make much doing that. It's it's the profit motive. Even with YouTube is going down or has gone down. So it's tough. I mean, a lot of these bands, I think their main revenue source is touring, and of course songwriting. Like I've been fortunate because I get songs in like TV shows, movies, things like that come along, video games. So it's kind of I'm like the action '80s guy, so it's kind of a niche that it's worked for me.
I was going to ask you about the Goldbergs because your songs have been used. I think I looked and saw 5 times maybe in 5 different episodes. Do you have a connection? Is Adam Goldberg a big fan of yours, or what?
Actually, he is. I talk to him every now and then on email. And, yeah, he's a good guy. But yeah, he's I know him. It's I mean, we don't hang out, but he's the one who got the stuff on the shows and stuff. He's a good guy. Yeah. And same thing I think with American Dad, and that was we had the touch on a couple of episodes of that, and I think Never Surrender. But yeah, it's funny because a lot of guys that were kids when the Transformers came out are back in the '80s now are like in these high positions, and they're they get oh yeah, I want to get him because I love his music. I grew up with what I mean. So and now they're like big cheese at so and so production studio or something, and it's kind of cool because they reach out because they love the stuff I did back then, and of course I'm still writing similar stuff, so it works out well.
It's all about longevity, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Has anybody covered any of your songs recently?
There was a band in Europe that I think it was last year, I think, that did a cover of The Touch. Well, of course, way back, a band, House of Lords, they covered my song Love Don't Lie.
Yeah. That was back in the heyday with the hair bands where like at their peak around that time before freaking grunge came around.
Do you have a favorite song off this new album?
That's a great question. Yeah, I think the title track, Dare to Dream, it that one kind of came out of nowhere, and it was like I really like that song. It's got a positive message, and it just seemed like the perfect one to be the title track.
Somewhere out there, the world is waiting. Something inside you yearns for something more. The same old life, the same old expectations. But there's a burning in your heart to what you find if you only dare to dream.
And then, you know, I really like the last song on the album too. It's called Home, and it's about, you know, about going back in time and going back to where you know, where you grew up. And all of us in some way, I think, yearn to go home and go back, you know, and where it all started.
Sometimes I just wanna go home and turn off the world and love you. You know, some dreams just ain't worth the tears they put you through. So when I've conquered the world and I'm through chasing every rainbow, there's one thing left to do. I wanna go home.
It's not realistic, you know. Most of the time, I think they always say, you know, you can't go back, but it's not so much even a time as just a feeling. You know, when you're a kid, you know, you don't have all the stresses and worries. You know, you can just enjoy yourself and be, you know, just be. You know, I think it was a cool message to me. The song kind of resonated. Try to get a little bit of I don't know, I don't want to say spirituality, but just that there's like something bigger out there that, you know, if you're open to expanding and whatever, you know, and believe in God and stuff. I mean, it's just, you know, without getting too far into that kind of thing, but I like songs that make you think, you know, just reach for stuff that's higher and more important. Because at the end of the day, you know, we're on this rock hurtling through space, you know, and why does it matter if you make an extra 10 grand or whatever? You know, at the end of the day, are you going to be happy? Or, you know what I mean? So I think a lot of people are moving away from the whole capitalism thing, you know, but even though it's given us a great standard of living, it's still, it's not great. It's just sort of the best thing we have so far to get everybody out of off the farm and whatnot. And have some kind of prosperity in life. But you know, when you have more time, it's hard to you start to lose sight of the important things. I think everybody's staring at their screens, you know, all the time, and I worry about these kids, you know, and the new generation. So I sound like an old fat person.
Yeah, it's true though. I mean, we really need more, you know, music like this. So like motivate, inspire people. You know, I think it makes a difference.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, like people ask me, I get fan letters or have gotten fan letters over the years where, you know, they say songs like The Touch, you know, changed their life somehow, you know, helped them through a tough time and whatnot. And it's very humbling to hear that kind of stuff. It's like, hey, I did something good, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, you know, that's what we're supposed to do, I think, is help each other, you know. So.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, especially as an artist. Yeah, like every single song on here, it's motivating. Even like Live and Breathe is a really romantic song, I feel. So, yeah.
It's like an angel came down. It's written in stone. Now I got this feeling more than anything I've ever known. 'Cause I live and breathe to love you. There's something magical in everything you do. There's a thrill in me when I hold you. Nothing on this earth that I won't give. I live and breathe for you.
you don't hear
Thank
too
you.
many great love songs like that anymore. So I think anyway.
Yeah, it's true. I haven't heard of the big love ballad thing. It was like back in the day, the Bryan Adams and all those, kind of things.
Hmm.
Journey, they were like the best of the best, that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, faithfully and anyway. But yeah, to me, one other thing I'll say about the songs, a lot of my songs, like you probably noticed, they change keys. So it's like, I like surprises. I don't like predictability, and you have like the same chord pattern all the way through the song. And it can still be a good song that way. But I'm just saying, for me personally, I like stuff that's like, oh, wow, something new comes, keeps it interesting.
Yeah, that's exactly. I love that because otherwise, I just like go to sleep. It's like boring when it's like the same thing over and over again. Like you have Live and
Right.
Breathe, and then it goes into Heat of Attack. So
Yeah.
I love that.
In the code of a shadow warrior, it's an eye for an eye, it's a battle cry. There's an enemy waiting for you. When the stakes get too high, gotta fight to stay alive. Feed the flame that burns inside you, raging fire that ignites you. In the heat of attack, there's no holding back. Force of thunder and steel, when you go for the kill, only one can survive, and a hero will rise. There's no holding back in the heat of attack.
That's after you've been married for a while. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Did you have any other questions, Sal? Oh, did you want to ask
I just-
about the touch? Like,
Well, yeah, I guess I have two questions. So the first one is, what is it like to be in the Transformers Hall of Fame, and what exactly does that get you?
Well, a cup of coffee. No, it was really cool being inducted. It was it was an experience, to be part of the brand, and to get that. I got that statue and all that statuette thing. They kind of. I was about to perform, about to go on stage at the Universal Studios here in LA, and they asked me to come over. There was some sort of event happening over in this other theater, fairly close to where the stage was I was about to perform on, and they said, "Oh, we just want you to come over and say something, announce, oh yeah, plug your show." That was it. And so I went in there, and they said, "Oh, sit here." It's like, somewhere in the audience near the stage, and the guy starts talking, and he said, "Yeah," and then so forth and so on with about the movie, and said, "One of the most important things, of course, is the music." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So they called me up. It was like really cool, and I told everybody, "You got the touch." That's what I can always use that. But it was a cool moment. It was like right up there with the Emmy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other question, and Paul and I were talking about this earlier, the touch. How many different versions of the song are there?
Wow. Well, I did like 3, I think. There was one that we were just messing around trying to do like a bit of a Linkin Park thing, with it was pretty cool. It was very different, and it was either you loved it or you hated it. We got a lot of both. We did a music video of that, and then there was this other sort of extended, I forget what we called it, power mix or something, but really the bottom line is the original touch was the one that it'd be like, I don't know, doing like a reggae version of Stairway to Heaven or something, or Layla or something, doing a different version. So you can't mess with something that I don't know, a lot of people really consider it an iconic song. And it was also one of the quick moment I'll share was like 3 years ago or so. I was backstage at the Transformers convention, HasCon in Providence, near your neck of the woods, and I had just come off stage. Actually, Mark Wahlberg was walking backstage, and I said, "You got the touch." And he said, "How did I do?" And I said, we talk about the movie. Anyway, I said it was great. Anyway, so he comes over a couple minutes later with his phone, and we start singing together. Just a couple of drunk guys. You got the it was funny. And he put it on his Facebook, and it had 600,000 views in the next. So, but that was cool. It was nice to. He didn't have to do that, But it was kind of a cool coincidence because he had not only starred in the Transformers films, the Michael Bay, but had also sung the touch in Boogie Nights. So it was like a double sort of coincidental thing there. It was pretty neat.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Anyway.
Then
so Dare to Dream.
You go ahead, Del.
I was going to say Dare to Dream is the new album. Is there another single release? Is there another video planned? What's your next step with the album?
Kind of waiting to hear. There's something maybe in the works, but I can't really say anything now. But like I say, we have the Born to Fight video that it's only been out 3 or 4 weeks, and that was from Netflix, and that's the first song on the album, the rocker, and then the '80s song from last year that was a single also. So for now, those two are the main sort of songs as far as videos and whatnot. But just like I say, I've been doing a ton of interviews and good stuff. So the response about the album has been really strong. So I think people really like it. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's definitely different than anything that's out there now, and it's at the same time it's like a throwback too. So yeah, I can see it being successful. All right, so would you like to tell people how to reach you, where they can find you, get the album?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, somebody wants to check out what's happening, they can just go to my website, stanbush.com, and if they want to get the album and see what's happening, hopefully there'll be some information forthcoming about touring and whatnot eventually. And anyway, I appreciate you guys having me.
Oh yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks for being with us.
Yeah, definitely. This is an honor.
For me as well. Nice meeting you.
Yeah, nice meeting you too.
Same here.
All right.
All right, and then all right, take care. All right, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
See you later.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
Thanks a lot.
All right, Del, you want to tell people how? Do you want to tell them about your radio station? Is it going to be going on over the holidays?
Sure. Yeah, well, we'll probably take a couple weeks off for the holidays, but then we'll be back probably the first weekend of 2021, assuming there's no shutdown or anything like that. But yeah, the show is on so the 80s at 8 on radio station WEDM, which you can stream on the app, the WEDM app, or the Radio Deck app, where you can access the station there. Saturdays and Sundays, 8 a.m. and 8 p.m., 4 hours every weekend.
Awesome. Yep. Then, of course, you can find me at Return to the 80s on Twitter. I created a new Instagram account, so I'm also on there if you want to start following me on there. And on Facebook. And on the website, of course, rtt80s.com. And I've started covering the albums of the 80s in chronological order, so that's been a lot of fun going through that.
How you're finding time to do that is beyond me.
Beyond me, too. I'm exhausted.
But it's great. I thought you were going to do one a week. I'm seeing one a day is what it's looking like. So
yeah.
And plus the trivia questions you're coming up with, too, are pretty impressive.
Yeah. I'll try to do, 3 albums a week. I didn't publish one today. I have one in the works. Maybe I'll have that one up tomorrow. So yeah, I think 3 a week might be more realistic, especially now that school's back in full swing again. I just started a new class last week, so yeah.
Well, 3 is still a lot. So
yeah, and I was originally going to do little podcasts for that, but that'll be too much. So it's just easier just writing it out. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun for me learning all this new music. So
yep, good stuff.
Yeah. And then maybe I'll come across some more Stan Bush albums. Maybe I can have him back on and talk about the album.
Maybe so.
hopefully it won't be another 6 months before we're able to come back on again. So. All right, everybody, take care. And remember,
be excellent to each other. And party on, dudes!
sit, Lizzie, sit. Good dog.